In a far corner of the galaxy, a great battle had just ended. The sound of energy blasts and clashing metal still echoed in the distance. The victorious alien faction gathered on a vast, open plain, proud of the hard-fought win. Their eyes shone with the thrill of victory, and their hearts beat fast with the rush of success. Among these warriors was General Xyra, a tall and striking alien woman known for her fierce determination and sharp mind. Her silver skin gleamed under the light of twin suns, and her deep eyes held a mystery that no one could easily read. Xyra had led her people through many battles, always emerging as a symbol of strength and honor. Today, however, she made a choice that left everyone puzzled. As the Alien Council began to sort through the spoils of the battle, they discussed powerful weapons, rare technologies, and valuable treasures taken from their foes. But General Xyra interrupted the conversation with a calm yet firm voice. "I demand a human as my prize," she declared. The words fell like a heavy stone in the silent hall. No one had expected such a request. Humans, as far as anyone knew, had not fought in this war, and were seen as weak and unimportant in these distant parts of the galaxy. The council members exchanged uncertain glances. They whispered among themselves, trying to understand her meaning. Some believed that the general was testing their loyalty or their wisdom. Others thought that perhaps she had a personal reason, a secret connection to the mysterious human race. The idea was strange and almost unbelievable. Why would a respected warrior like General Xyra choose a being so seemingly ordinary? Outside the council room, word of the demand spread quickly through the station. Soldiers, officers, and even civilians stopped in their daily routines to discuss this unusual order. Many of them wondered if the general's words were part of a deeper plan. Could there be a hidden prophecy, or was this simply a challenge to the old ways of thinking? The idea that a human might hold some hidden power or secret destiny began to take root in their minds. General Xyra remained silent on her reasons. She walked slowly among her people, her eyes scanning the room with a steady determination. Her silence added to the mystery and raised more questions than answers. The tension in the air was almost tangible, and everyone sensed that this moment was only the beginning of a long and unpredictable journey. Thus, with the general's demand echoing in every corner of the station, the stage was set for a new adventure. The choice of a human as a prize was not just an act of defiance. It was a mystery waiting to be solved and a challenge that would soon change the fate of many worlds. Daniel Carter lived a quiet life in a small town on Earth. He was an engineer who enjoyed solving problems and fixing everyday things. His days were simple, waking up early, working at the repair shop, and spending evenings with family and friends. Daniel never thought his life would ever lead him far from home. One clear morning, everything changed. A group of stern-faced soldiers arrived at his modest house. Their words, though soft, carried an undeniable seriousness. They informed Daniel that he was needed on a distant world, a place among the stars where he had never been. Confused and frightened, he wondered why a simple engineer like him was being taken away. All he knew was that his quiet life was ending, and a new unknown chapter was beginning. Soon, Daniel learned the reason for his sudden departure. General Xyra, a powerful and mysterious alien leader with shining silver skin and deep, secretive eyes, had made an unusual demand. In a grand assembly of her people, she declared that her prize would be a human. No one could explain why she chose a human or why she believed one held any special value. Rumors and whispers spread among the aliens. They talked of ancient legends and hidden powers that might reside within a human being. But for Daniel, these were just strange stories that did not explain why he was chosen. As Daniel was escorted aboard the massive alien warship, he felt small and lost in a world that was not his own. The ship's corridors were bright and filled with unfamiliar sounds that echoed off smooth metallic walls. Every step he took made him wonder about the destiny that now awaited him. The aliens around him watched with curious eyes, as if they saw in him something mysterious, a secret that only time could reveal. Questions filled his mind. but the language barrier and the hurried explanations left him with more confusion than answers. He learned only that his life was no longer his own. The idea of being a prize was foreign and unsettling, yet it hinted at something more significant hidden beneath the surface of his simple existence. In a small, quiet room aboard the ship, Daniel had a moment to reflect. He looked out of a narrow window at the vast expanse of space, where countless stars shone like distant beacons. Thoughts of his family, his friends, and the life he once knew swirled in his mind. At the same time, a spark of curiosity began to glow inside him. Could it be that his ordinary life held a secret purpose? Was there more to him than he ever imagined? Though fear and uncertainty gripped his heart, Daniel realized that his journey was just beginning. With every unanswered question and every silent whisper of fate, he stepped further into a future that was both frightening and full of promise. Daniel was led through long, echoing corridors on the alien warship. The walls shone with a soft, blue light, and the air hummed with a quiet, constant sound. Every step felt heavy, as if he was stepping into a world he could never have imagined. Despite being called a prize, Daniel soon realized he was caught between freedom and captivity. He was not locked in a small cell, yet he was not free to wander the ship. His new quarters were a modest room with a simple bed, a small table, and a window that showed only the deep black of space. There was a single chair by the door, and every piece of furniture was made of a smooth, unknown material. It was clear that every detail of the room had been planned, though Daniel could not understand the purpose. At first, the aliens treated him with a calm indifference. They watched him from a distance, their large eyes filled with curiosity. Daniel often saw them moving quietly in the halls, sometimes pausing as if they were studying him. He wondered if they saw him as a valuable prize, a tool to be used, or perhaps as a living mystery that could change the fate of their people. General Xera visited him in his room. She did not come with a harsh glare or an angry shout. Instead, she observed him quietly, her gaze steady and thoughtful. Her silver skin shone in the soft light, and her deep eyes seemed to look right through him. When she spoke, her words were few and careful. "You are not a prisoner, Daniel," she said in clear, simple words. "You are here for a reason that we do not yet understand." Her words gave him little comfort. Daniel felt lost. He did not know why he was chosen or what his life would become. The general left as quietly as she had come, leaving him with more questions than answers. Even the staff who brought him food and supplies spoke in soft, respectful tones. They did not ask many questions and always hurried away when he tried to speak. During the long hours in his room, Daniel's mind raced. He thought of his quiet life on Earth and the sudden turn of events that had taken him far away from home. Every sound, every light, and every step echoed in his thoughts as he tried to piece together the meaning of it all. Was he a valuable treasure or a captive meant to serve a higher cause? The idea of being chosen as a prize felt both strange and heavy on his heart. Outside his room, the hum of the ship continued. The aliens moved about, their tasks mysterious and their purpose unclear. Daniel began to notice that some aliens looked at him with a mix of hope and uncertainty, as if they believed he held a secret that could change their lives. The uncertainty in the air grew with each passing moment. In that quiet, strange place, Daniel realized that he was standing at the edge of a great mystery. He could not say whether he was a prize or a prisoner, but one thing was clear. His life was now part of a larger story, one that would soon unfold in ways he could hardly imagine. In the quiet hours after his arrival, Daniel was summoned once more by General Xera. This time, he was led to a small, private chamber deep within the ship. The room was softly lit by a warm, steady glow, and the gentle hum of alien machinery filled the silence. Ira sat on a simple bench made of smooth, dark material and motioned for Daniel to take a seat across from her. Her silver skin and steady gaze made her look both calm and determined. For a long moment, there was nothing but silence. Then, in a clear and measured voice, General Xera began to speak. "Daniel," she said, I have watched you since you first set foot on this ship. I have seen your quiet strength and the courage you did not know you had. I know you do not understand why you have been chosen, and today I will share with you a part of the truth." Daniel listened intently as she continued. "Your body, your very blood, is unlike that of other humans. Within you lies a secret that has been hidden for many generations. Long ago, our ancestors recorded a prophecy that spoke of a human who would possess a unique gift, a key to unlock a lost power that has the potential to change the course of our galaxy. I believe that you are that human." The words struck Daniel with both wonder and fear. He had always considered himself an ordinary man, an engineer with a simple life on Earth. The idea that he might carry something extraordinary in his blood was almost too hard to believe. Yet the calm certainty in Xyra's voice made it difficult to dismiss her words. Xyra explained further. "Many centuries ago, humans were part of a great alliance with other species. You helped share knowledge and technology, and your kind played a crucial role in building a peaceful future. Over time, the memory of that era faded, and humans came to be seen as weak and insignificant. But in your genes, there is a spark of that ancient strength. I have studied the old texts and legends of my people, and they tell of a genetic anomaly that can open the vault of lost wisdom, a vault that holds the power to restore balance in times of great need." Daniel's mind raced as he tried to absorb the meaning behind her words. "But why me?" he asked softly, his voice trembling with uncertainty. Xyra offered a gentle smile and replied, "You were not chosen by chance, Daniel. Fate has a way of finding the right person at the right time. I have seen signs that you will help bring back what was lost and guide many towards a better future." In that quiet chamber, as the soft light bathed them both, and the distant hum of the ship filled the space, Daniel began to realize that his life was now intertwined with a mystery much larger than himself. He was not merely a prize or a captive. He was the key to a secret that stretched far beyond the stars. With his heart pounding and his thoughts in turmoil, Daniel faced a future filled with both daunting challenges and the promise of extraordinary change. Daniel was taken from the ship to a mysterious planet that had long been forgotten by most. The alien woman, General Xyra, led him through a small landing craft that glided over a dry, rugged landscape. The ground was cracked and dusty, and in the distance, the remains of ancient structures could be seen. These were the Forbidden Ruins, a place filled with secrets of a long-lost civilization. As the landing craft touched down, Daniel peered out of the small window. He saw tall, broken columns, shattered statues, and walls covered in strange carvings. The symbols on the stones seemed to tell stories of ancient heroes and battles. The silence of the land made everything feel more mysterious, as if the ruins themselves were holding their breath. General Xyra's calm voice broke the silence. "This place is very old," she said. "Once, it was a center of great knowledge and power. Now, it is a memory." Together, they stepped out onto the uneven ground. Every step was a reminder that this world was unlike any Daniel had known. The air was still, and the only sound was the soft crunch of gravel underfoot. As they walked toward the ruins, Daniel noticed that the carvings on the stone walls were arranged in patterns. They showed images of beings from different worlds living together, sharing wisdom and strength. It was a story of unity and cooperation, a story that made Daniel wonder about the true history of many species, including his own. They soon reached a large stone building with a collapsed roof. Inside, a great hall lay in ruins. Dust motes floated in the beams of light that managed to filter through cracks high above. General Xyra paused in the center of the hall and turned to Daniel. "They say that the key to unlocking ancient power is hidden in this place," she explained. "I believe that you, Daniel, may be the one to find it." Her words filled him with a mix of fear and excitement. Daniel walked slowly among the scattered rubble. His eyes moved over faded murals and worn inscriptions. The language was foreign, yet the pictures were clear. Scenes of peaceful gatherings, great battles, and a bright light emanating from deep within the earth. Every stone seemed to whisper a secret, hinting at mysteries long buried. He felt both small and important at the same time, as if he were a single piece in a grand ancient puzzle. General Xyra remained close by, her steady gaze scanning every corner of the hall. They examined each carving and inscription together, trying to piece together the story of the forbidden ruins. As the hours passed, Daniel began to understand that this place was not merely a relic of the past, it was a challenge waiting to be solved. The legends of old might be true after all, and within these ruins lay a power that could change the fate of many worlds. With every step, Daniel felt the weight of history and destiny on his shoulders. The forbidden ruins held both danger and promise, and he knew that his journey had only just begun. Daniel stood in the heart of the ancient ruins, his eyes scanning the worn carvings on the walls. The air inside the hall was thick with dust, and every breath carried the scent of old stone. He felt the weight of history pressing down on him. Somewhere within these ruins lay the key to an ancient power, and somehow he was meant to unlock it. General Xera stood beside him, her silver skin glowing faintly under the dim light that filtered through cracks in the ceiling. "The legends say that only the right one can pass the trial," she said, her voice calm but serious. "I believe that person is you, Daniel." Daniel let out a deep breath. "I still don't understand why," he admitted. "I'm just a normal guy. What if I fail?" Xyra placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "Then we will find another way," she assured him. "But I don't think failure is an option for you." Daniel turned back to the hall. At the far end, there was a large stone door covered in symbols. It had no handle, no visible way to open it. But as he stepped closer, something strange happened. The carvings on the door began to glow, pulsing with a soft blue light. Hyra's sharp eyes widened slightly. "It's reacting to you." Daniel reached out, placing his palm against the cool surface. The moment he touched it, a deep rumble shook the ground. The dust in the air trembled, and ancient mechanisms hidden within the walls began to move. A section of the floor in front of him shifted, revealing a dark passageway leading underground. Xyra stepped forward. "This is the trial," she said. "Only you can enter. I cannot follow." Daniel hesitated. His heart pounded in his chest. He wanted to turn back, to refuse. But deep down, something told him that this was what he was meant to do. Steeling himself, he nodded to Xyra and stepped forward into the darkness. The moment he crossed the threshold, torches along the walls ignited with a blue flame, lighting his path. The walls of the tunnel were smooth, as if untouched by time. As he moved deeper, he noticed strange symbols glowing on the walls, their patterns shifting as if alive. Then the trial began. A deep voice echoed in the chamber, though Daniel could not tell where it came from. Only those with wisdom and courage may proceed. Before him, the path split into 3 tunnels, each marked with a different set of symbols. He had no idea which one was correct, but something inside him, an instinct, pushed him toward the middle path. He stepped forward, and the moment he did, the other 2 paths collapsed into rubble behind him. Daniel's heart pounded. There was no turning back now. He pressed onward, knowing that whatever lay ahead would test him in ways he could never have imagined. "You said." Daniel moved carefully through the narrow tunnel, his footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. The blue flames flickered along the walls, casting strange shadows that seemed to dance as he passed. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew he had no choice but to keep going. The passage twisted and turned, leading him deeper underground. Strange symbols continued to glow on the walls, shifting and changing as if alive. He felt like they were watching him, testing him. Then suddenly, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. In the center of the room stood a floating stone pedestal. Resting on it was a small metallic sphere covered in intricate patterns. It pulsed with a faint golden glow, and Daniel could feel a strange energy coming from it. He knew instantly this was what Xyra had been searching for. He reached out, hesitating for a moment. The moment his fingers touched the sphere, the entire chamber trembled. The torches lining the walls flared brightly, and the symbols glowed even stronger. A deep, ancient voice filled the air. The chosen one has arrived. The trial is complete. Daniel felt a surge of warmth spread through his body. It was as if something inside him had awakened, something he didn't even know existed. He could feel knowledge, not in words, but in sensations, in understanding. The power of the ancients had been locked away for centuries, and now it had chosen him. But before he could process what had happened, an alarm echoed through the ruins. A loud explosion shook the ground, and dust rained from the ceiling. Daniel spun around just in time to see Commander Vec storming into the chamber, his weapon raised. The alien commander's eyes burned with anger, and behind him, a group of heavily armed soldiers followed. "Step away from the artifact, human," Vec growled. His voice was sharp, filled with barely controlled rage. Daniel's heart pounded. "What are you doing?" he demanded. Vec sneered. "You think we would leave this kind of power in the hands of a human? You are nothing but an accident. General Xera is blinded by her foolish beliefs, but I will not allow this mistake to continue." Daniel clenched his fists. He didn't understand everything, but he knew one thing. Vec was betraying Xera. The soldiers moved forward, weapons aimed at Daniel. He had no way to fight back, but something deep inside him whispered that he wasn't powerless. He still held the sphere, and he could feel its energy pulsing in his hands. Xera's voice suddenly crackled through his earpiece. "Daniel, get out of there. Vec has turned against us." Daniel took a deep breath. He had a choice: surrender and let the artifact fall into the wrong hands, or fight back with the power he had just unlocked. He made his decision, and the ruins erupted with light. The chamber exploded with blinding light as the ancient sphere pulsed in Daniel's hands. The symbols on the walls flared to life, casting shifting patterns of gold and blue across the stone. The air grew thick with a strange energy, and for a moment, time itself seemed to pause. Commander Vec flinched, shielding his eyes from the brightness. The soldiers behind him hesitated, their weapons trembling in their hands. "What is this?" Vec snarled. "What trick is this, human?" But Daniel wasn't sure himself. He could feel the power coursing through him, like a current flowing beneath his skin. It wasn't something he controlled. It was something that had awakened inside him. The sphere hummed, sending waves of warmth into his body. And then he understood. The knowledge flooded his mind, not in words, but in pure understanding. The artifact was not just a relic of the past. It was a key to something far greater than anyone had realized. These ruins were not simply ancient. They were a vault, a place designed to hide a secret that could reshape the galaxy. And the reason Xera had chosen him, the reason his very blood had brought him here, was because humans were never meant to be weak. Long ago, humanity had been a part of something greater. They were once explorers, builders, warriors, and guardians. They had stood side by side with powerful civilizations, shaping the destiny of the galaxy. But something had happened, something terrible. Their history had been erased, their potential hidden, and their strength forgotten. Until now. Daniel gasped as the images and knowledge faded, leaving behind a single clear truth. He had the power to unlock it all. Vec, seeing the hesitation in Daniel's face, took his chance. "Enough of this," he roared, raising his weapon. "Kill him and take the artifact." The soldiers snapped out of their fear, their rifles lighting up as they aimed at Daniel. But before they could fire, the ruins themselves reacted. A deep rumble shook the ground, and from the walls, golden energy pulsed outward. The soldiers staggered, their weapons short-circuiting in their hands. Vec cursed, trying to regain control, but it was too late. The vault was defending its chosen one. And then Xera arrived. She and her loyal warriors stormed into the chamber, moving with swift precision. Blades flashed, Energy bolts flew, and within moments, the traitors were overwhelmed. Vec, seeing his defeat, tried to flee. But Sarah moved faster. With a single powerful strike, she knocked him to the ground. Her blade pressed against his throat. "You betrayed our people," she said coldly. "And for that, you will answer." Daniel, still clutching the sphere, met Sarah's gaze. He didn't need to speak. She could see it in his eyes. He knew everything now. And for the first time, he understood. This was only the beginning. The chamber was silent except for the faint hum of the artifact in Daniel's hands. Golden energy pulsed through the ancient walls, casting eerie shadows over the fallen soldiers. Vec lay on the ground, his face twisted with rage. But he was powerless now. Zyra's blade was at his throat, and her warriors stood ready to end his betrayal once and for all. But Daniel barely noticed them. His mind was racing with everything he had just learned. The knowledge from the artifact was still fresh in his mind. The truth about humanity's lost history, their forgotten strength, and the power that could now be restored. Zyra watched him carefully. "You have seen the truth, haven't you?" she asked. Daniel nodded slowly. "Yes, and I understand now why you chose me." His voice was steady, but inside, he was filled with uncertainty. The artifact was not just a vault of knowledge. It was a key that could unlock something far greater, the full potential of humanity. It could awaken abilities buried deep in their DNA, return them to what they once were. But there was a cost. The ruins had shown him two possible futures. In one, he used the artifact to awaken humanity, making them powerful once again. They would no longer be seen as weak or insignificant. They would stand as equals, perhaps even as leaders among the stars. But power always came with a price. Would humanity use it wisely, or would they repeat the mistakes of the past? In the other future, he could destroy the artifact and keep the knowledge buried forever. The past would remain forgotten, and humanity would continue as they were, struggling, surviving, growing slowly on their own. Maybe that was the better path. Maybe it was safer. Zyra stepped closer. "What will you do, Daniel?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. "This is your choice." Daniel tightened his grip on the sphere. He had always thought of himself as an ordinary man, a simple engineer, a problem solver, someone who fixed broken things. But now he held the future of an entire species in his hands. He looked down at the artifact, feeling its warmth pulse against his skin. The ruins seemed to whisper to him, waiting for his answer. Destroy it, or use it. He took a deep breath. Then he made his decision. As he placed his hands firmly on the sphere, golden light surged through the chamber. The walls trembled, the symbols glowed brighter, and a deep ancient voice echoed once more. "The path has been chosen." Zyra's eyes widened as the energy swirled around Daniel, wrapping him in a cocoon of light. The choice had been made, and whatever came next, there was no turning back. The future of humanity had been decided, and soon the galaxy would feel its impact. A blinding golden light filled the ancient chamber as the artifact pulsed with energy. The walls trembled, and the deep voice of the ruins whispered through the air. "The path has been chosen." Daniel felt a rush of warmth flood through him. It was as if every cell in his body had awakened, as if something inside him had been waiting for this moment. He wasn't just holding knowledge, he was becoming a part of it. Zyra watched in silent awe, her silver eyes reflecting the glow of the artifact. The soldiers around her stood frozen, sensing the power that was unfolding before them. Even Vec, still on the ground, stared in shock. Whatever he had planned, whatever he had hoped to steal, it no longer mattered. The choice had already been made. Then suddenly, the light dimmed, and the energy settled. The artifact's glow faded to a gentle pulse, as if it had completed its purpose. Daniel took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment press down on him. He had not destroyed the artifact. He had chosen to awaken humanity's forgotten past. The knowledge within him was vast, but it was not overwhelming. He didn't suddenly gain superpowers or become some kind of god. Instead, he had understanding. He knew where humanity had come from, and now he knew where they could go. Zyra stepped forward, her voice quiet but strong. "What happens now, Daniel?" Daniel turned to her, a determined look in his eyes. "We rebuild," he said. "We don't just take power for ourselves. We learn. We grow. We use this knowledge the right way." Thedira studied him for a long moment before nodding. "Then you will not stand alone," she said. "You have earned my loyalty." The other warriors in the room, those who had doubted him before, now looked at him with something new: respect. As the chamber settled, a distant rumble shook the ground. The ruins, having fulfilled their purpose, began to collapse. Stones cracked, dust rained down, and the symbols on the walls flickered like dying stars. "Time to go," Zyra shouted. Daniel and the others rushed toward the exit as the ruins caved in behind them. The energy from the artifact had awakened something deep within the planet, and the ancient structures were now crumbling. They barely made it back to the surface before the entire temple vanished into dust. Standing under the alien sky, Daniel looked at Zyra. "The artifact may be gone," he said, "but the knowledge isn't. Humanity has a future beyond what anyone imagined." Zyra nodded, a rare smile crossing her lips. "Then let's see what you can do with it, human." As they boarded the ship, leaving the ruined planet behind, Daniel knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. A new era for humanity had just begun.